Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Facebook. It's good to be back. Hi. Please share the video. Thank you for joining in again. Yeah, we have about 5 minutes they're about to go. I just want to start this early so that I don't have the same issues as last week. So that's why I'm coming on here early. And yes, we have seen the topic for discourse. If you have any questions around it, please drop it so that I can address it as I go on. Let's wait for more people to join us. Thank you. Please say hi as you are joining in. I can see people online. Say hello. Thank you for the likes. Just say hello. Let me know you are here with me. Yeah, thanks. Hello. Yeah. It's good to be back. It's good to be back. Thank you, Oriyomi. Thank you, Adishino. Thanks for joining in. Thank you. Thank you, everyone that's online. We have just about 3 minutes more. Yeah, before we go straight into it. I'll quickly use that to do a recap because I don't intend to stay long like we did last week. So if you have not seen my last week broadcast, thank you, Fumi, for joining in. If you have not seen my last week broadcast, you need to look for that video and then, watch it. It's going to help your understanding of where we are coming from. We have spoken about the different marriages in Nigeria. Thank you, Newton. Thank you, Yetunde. Thanks, my sister. We have done Olufemi. Thank you for joining in. We have looked at the different marriages under the Nigerian law. We have also looked at the statutory marriage. We have looked at what are the legal effects. We have looked at what are the things that you need to satisfy to be able to be statutorily married. And then we also looked at divorce, the important things that you need to know. And last week I did a long one on looking at, all the three that we have looked at. So I did a full recap of this. So please, I need you to go and see that video. It was almost an hour, but it was very, very in-depth, very, very detailed. All the issues that you need to know, I've looked at in that broadcast. So please look out for it. Hey, Sonnet, thank you for joining. Olubumi, thank you for joining. Dotun, I appreciate you. Ajayi, blessing, thank you all for joining in. I appreciate. Please share this video. Please share this video on your wall. It helps a lot of people to get the information too. And then it reduces workload on my inbox. Please share the video. Please share the video. Before we continue this afternoon, I'd like to quickly make some announcements. Please, and please. I used to say it all the time. Please like my page on Facebook as the legal practitioner. Now, that page has a lot of resources on it that is going to help you on all these issues that we have looked into. It will also help you to send your messages to that page. Because that page, like I said, we have a team of legal practitioners that are on ground to always answer your question. Now, if you keep sending your messages to my personal inbox, that box has been locked in since like last week. So once I receive messages, it keeps going down and going down. So I may not be able to get your message. So if I don't respond to your message in 24 hours, please resend your message or just buzz it so that it comes up, that I can see it. But like I said, I want to advise, please look out for our page, Ask the Legal Practitioner on Facebook. Like the page, and then there is the button for you to send message. It is easier for you to get a quick response on Ask the Legal Practitioner that you will get from my personal inbox. So please make use of the page. And all these things, we have it all out in articles that you can easily sit down, read, and digest. And if you have any question, you can ask them. So please, 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 Ask the Legal Practitioner is the page for you. I also want to quickly apologize if perhaps I have not answered your question, in a long time. Please just buzz me again so that I can see that question. A lot of question keeps coming in on my inbox, so it makes it to just, clumsy. Please, please, please. Hey, Titilaya, thanks for joining in. Please, if I have not responded to you, please, send another message so that it can come up so that I can see it and then respond to you. But going forward, please use the Ask the Legal Practitioner page. We are a team of lawyers that are always on ground. At least you will have 1 or 2 people online at any time to always respond to your message. So that's the fastest place for you to get response to any of your questions and then doubts. So that said, for those that will join us for the first time, let me introduce myself again. My name is Atinuke Dorcas. I used to introduce myself. I will say that I'm a barrister and solicitor of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. So my area of expertise is not only in matrimonial causes. So I also deal in other areas of law. And the page Ask the Legal Practitioner also shows that. So please, I'm not just a matrimonial lawyer. I'll bring all your legal issues and let's handle it together, So that's about that. Today, like I said, we'll be discussing on the consequences of divorce and what are the child rights incidental to it. I've had a lot of questions after the last week podcast on after divorce, what happens, how does one walk through it and all of that. I've had quite a number of questions regarding child custody, regarding maintenance, regarding alimony, visitation rights. All these issues had come up as questions. That's why I want us to look at them now so that, we could have a general overview of them. So that's what we are looking at today. Flowing freely from you having gone through a divorce proceedings to the end, and then the court has ordered make an order nisi, and then maybe eventually get into an order absolute. What happens is that every legal rights or benefits that entails between husband and wife is no longer in existence. What do I mean by that? When we're discussing the legal effect of statutory marriage, one of the things we said there was that there is the respect for the sanctity of marriage. There is mutual defense. Yeah. So all of these things ceases to exist, once the court makes the order for dissolution absolute. So all of it ceases to exist. But majorly is the issue of change of name, which most married women that are now divorced, find a bit tacky. Like I told everyone who has asked me, once you have your divorce order made absolute, you can go ahead and change your name if that is what you want. Although the law does not strictly say that you need to change your name, you can continue using your husband's name if it's convenient for you. The only clause there is that you cannot use that name to continue to make the I'm sorry, my connection is a bit poor, but I'm working at that. So like I said, that there is no law that strictly says that you need to change your name. No law says that you need to change your name. But the clause there is that if you continue with the use of that name, you will not use it in a way that is misleading to the public for them to think that you are still married to your husband. Thank you, Alan. That you're still married to your husband. And then you're not going to be able to use that name to perpetrate any fraud. So where you do that in misleading the public that you are still married to your husband, your spouse has a right to approach the court asking them to stop you from the continuous usage of that name. So, that is it. Then some people are like, they've known them with that name, how they go. Change of name is the easiest thing to do. It's so easy. It's the easiest thing to do. The same way that you got married, you went to go and do a publication saying that you want to inform the public that you are now married, or your certificate that is bearing your father's name, they are still valid. It's the same way you will go back and do another affidavit and then do another publication. It's not is to say that this is who you are now, you wish to be known and called by this name, but every other document bearing this name is also valid. Then you put it in a newspaper, and once you go around, that's it. So you have a copy of that newspaper with you all of the time to go and effect change wherever you need to do it. So it's not there's nothing, it's not stricto sensu, it's not hard. When I was telling some people in my inbox, they were like, I wonder why anybody think that's hard. It's not hard. It's not. Some people don't wait till having a divorce absolute for them to go and change your name. Anything can come up. Anything can be the reason why you want to change your name. But looking at this, if it has to do with a dissolution of marriage, once the court order is absolute, you go ahead and change your name if you want to. But if you do not want to change your name, you have to ensure that you are not misleading people. And anyways, if you continue, if you are not misleading is on its own. You are no longer Mrs. Ebert, and then you have all your document that is Mrs. Ebert, and then you want to continue. That's misleading to the public. So you really, really need to look at that clause. Another thing, like I said, it divests you of every right. Where you have joint property while your divorce is going on, it has to have gotten to a point where you do settlement of property, where the court divides this property between the two of you. We discussed this issue the last week. When you have a property that was acquired in the name, as in the property papers, as Mr. so and so and Mrs. so and so, in that detailed form. When you have that, while the divorce is going on, you must have settled properties, and then court divides what goes to what and what goes to who. Hey, bros, Chamel, I can see you. Thanks for joining in. Thank you, Bumaki. Please, I'll not be able to take any call now. If you keep calling me, that's going to be affecting this video. So it is when I'm done, I'll be able to pick any call. So once the court separates property and gives you what belongs to you, it is proper for you to go and ensure that documentation is also done in your new name so that these things are properly secured. So that's another point that you need to that's another thing that you need to put into mind. Like I said in my other broadcast, dissolution of marriage is just like a termination of contract. When there's no longer any contract existing between you and somebody, you have to ensure that you both sever ways. So once you get to that point that you have filed and then the court has made an order, that is it. But let me say that the court has made an order for dissolution of marriage absolute is not a ground or a reason why couples cannot reconcile. I'll give you a scenario. I've had a client where, of course, we got to the point of getting a divorce absolute, and then parties had lived apart for 2 years, even after the court had made their dissolution absolute. But both in trying to find greener pastures, I guess, left the country, and then they met again after 2 years of their marriage being dissolved here in Nigeria. They met again, one thing led to the other, and before you knew it, the woman got pregnant. And anyways, what was one of the cruxes that caused the marriage to break down irretrievable at that time was because the woman was not being able to conceive. There were a lot of frictions here and there, and then they could no longer stay together again. But let me shock you. After 2 years, they met again, blah, 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 blah. Things happened, and before you knew it, they were back together. So she now called me. She was concerned that, after what they had done, I was even surprised, 2 years old. She now called me that, this is what has happened, this is that, can I believe it, that she doesn't even know, blah, blah, blah. I said, well, madam, calm down, congratulations. It has worked now, The only thing is that you two go and recontract. You get, just go back again and get married. It doesn't stop you. So the same goes for everyone that needs to know that. So it doesn't. I'm not saying that what's it called, doesn't work, but anything can happen. You never can tell. Anything can happen. Love is stronger than death. That's what I know. So you never can tell. It may happen that you find yourself again. The thing you need to know is that once you reconcile, please recontract. So you should put that in mind. So majorly, those are about the 4 things that we need to put in mind that are consequential as a result of divorce being made absolute. I'll quickly go now, because I said I don't want this to be a long one. I'll quickly go now into child rights that are incidental to divorce. Let me say first and foremostly, and then I don't know how much I want this to sound, but let me really, really ring it into the heads of everybody that is going through a divorce proceeding at the moment, or you are thinking of it, or you are planning it. Please, please, and please, never make your children the tools to fight. Never. Don't get them involved in your discord. They have no business whatsoever in your discord. I have spoken with a lot of people, and this goes to both male and female, husband and wife. I've had men spoke to me, and then the only thing they are thinking about is they want to get their child. This, that, please. I've had women speak to me. They don't want the fathers to have access to the children. Please, these things they're not in the best interest of the child of the marriage. So never make the child or the children of the marriage the tool to fight. I've said to you, and I'm saying it again, divorce is not a punishment mechanism. It's just to say that there's been breakdown. The contract between you two, marital contract, is no longer working. And then you want to sort it out on terms. Don't bring the children in for no reason. Don't bring the children in. So what are the incidental rights that the children will have as the consequences of your divorce? One foremost thing that the court will consider is their custody. And I know that that's what every party wants to fight for. The father wants to fight for the custody of a 2-year-old child. The mother is also saying, I'm the mother, I want my child. I'm the only person that can take care of her. And then this mother doesn't have anything she's doing. And then she's just fighting tooth and nail. She needs to take care. She needs to take her child. She needs to do this. The man is saying, "It's my home. I can't leave my child with her. I can't do this. What if she goes to marry somebody else? What if that? What if this?" The court is going to consider what is the paramount interest of that child. And let me make this very, very clear. A lot of people think that things just happen in this country. We don't have rules. We don't have laws. In the laws of Nigeria, laws of the Federation of Nigeria, we have the Child Rights Act. So these laws are very, very succinct. Like I told you that I was going to use Lagos State as a template. These days, when people come for divorce proceedings and they will not agree on custody, the government will take the child from you. Under that Child Rights Act, listen foremost, a Nigerian child belongs first to the government. That I gave birth to him is not it. Under the law, a Nigerian child belongs to the government. So if we are saying that when you come for divorce, when you come for dissolution, and you're counseling you to say, let's sit down around these things, let's sort it out before you get to the family courts, and then you make it an issue, be very, very considerate. It will help you, because where it becomes an issue that parties are not going to settle on what is the best interest of that child, the government will take the child from you. They will go and put the child in a home. There are a lot of them that are running in Lagos. So when you people now calm down, knows what you want to do, they can now decide. So these things are very, very important. The issue of custody, the court is going to consider, one, the age of the child of the marriage. If the child is still a minor, between the ages 0 to 6, the courts would tend to have the mother of that child take care of that child. Okay, my daddy is online now. Thank you, Dad, for joining. Okay, so the court will consider the age of that child is important. So if it's between 0 to 6 years, the court would tend to want to have the mother still take care of that child, and then order the father to pay maintenance. But the clause is that this mother too is going to be somebody who is stable. You will not be somebody who doesn't have something you are doing, or you are mentally ill, you are still under care, or you are not emotionally balanced. if all of these things are present, in spite of the fact that you are the mother of that child and the child is still a minor, the court may not grant you the custody of that child. So these are the impressions that will be bared upon the mind of the court to be able to grant custody. But like I said, the age will be considered. If it's still very minor, it will be the child will be handed over to the mother to take care of. And when that is ordered, then the father is ordered to pay maintenance. Another thing in the issue of custody that the court will look at, when such a child leaves the age of minor, anything starting from 7, the court, the law in Nigeria, the LFN and the Lagos State laws regarding Child Rights Act, allows the court to ask the child who he wants to live with, starting from the age of 7. So the child also can decide at that point who he also wants to live with. Let me give you a scenario. I was at the family court sometime last year. Now, that matter was not mine, but the issue of custody was in contention. So the judge now ordered that they bring the child. So the child was in the school uniform and then came to court and all that. The judge gave the child sweet, chocolate, everything, so the child was free. There, while the child was free and everything, the judge now asked, so mommy and daddy said they're not staying together again. So what are you going to do? Believe you me, the boy just started talking. And the mother that was fighting tooth and nail to have the boy was not interested. This goes a long way to say a lot of things. Because the boy thinks that the mom was just not good enough. My mom shouts, my mom does this, my mom does that, those kind of things bear on the mind of the kid. And also, the woman in question doesn't have... So at the end of the day, by the time the court was going to make a decision for custody, decided that the father could have the child, but that the mother would visit every weekend, or they make sure that the child visit the mother every weekend. It was painful, but that was what was best. So I'm saying all of these things to let you know that these things happen. They are not things that we have not seen before. A lot of things happen. So if you are going to claim custody, it's not sentimental. Because you're not going to look at the sentiments behind it. You are the mother of the child, yes. You are the father of the child, yes. But all other things not being equal, you are not going to have the custody of that child. Damola, thanks for joining. You say, is the law only in the books in Lagos State? No. It's a Nigerian thing. We have it in our laws in Nigeria, laws of the Federation of Nigeria. So it's not about Lagos alone. Lagos is just working the law. So Lagos has a template for the law to work. I am not aware of any other state, but I think Oyo State is also doing the same thing. Yes, I'm sure of Oyo State and Lagos State. And I want to believe, because we have it in the LFN, of course, every other state can work on these laws. The only thing is that Lagos is just so... Lagos is setting the pace in that they now have special courts for this kind of issues. They have family courts that deals with this kind of issues. So that's why I'm saying Lagos State, but it's in the LFN. Shamel, you're asking a question where it becomes problematic to detect or discover the man's source of income or asset as a result of concealed information. Okay, Shamel, I just read your question. Ask a large one. I'm going to divide it so that I can take it one after the other. You say that, how about in a case where it becomes problematic to detect or discover the man's source of income or asset as a result of concealed information on the part of the man? Remember, it is not particularly easy to trace and track a man's true finances and their sources. How